Is World of Warcraft finally back? Or is it as bad as everything that Blizzard has done in the last couple of years?
World of Warcraft's upcoming expansion, The War Within, introduces an all-new pillar of progression for open-world players. Delves are 1 to 5 player role-agnostic adventures found throughout.
Is this just another Torghast and hopefully better?
Khazalgar. Players will typically be able to complete these bite-sized combat, puzzle, and platforming experiences in just 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, sounds like Torghast, but hopefully better.
Providing an additional way to level and an alternative path to endgame rewards alongside Mythic Plus dungeons, raids, and PvP.
Ooh, endgame rewards. At least we know that it's slightly better than Torghast at the bare minimum. That's good.
Players can dive into delves alone or in parties of any number up to 5, and any combination of classes and roles are viable, letting you approach each adventure as you see fit.
I'm going to be really curious to see how this plays out, because like almost every instance of Blizzard trying to do something that's role agnostic has been bad. Like an example is Scenarios. Scenarios had so many problems. Then you had Torghast, so many problems. Island Expeditions, so many problems.
I agree with this. There's a simple problem that happens when you try to make things role agnostic. Especially in a game like World of Warcraft where you have so many classes and so many specializations. Because this kind of happened to me when I played Torghast, because I tried that expansion for a week and then just, gave it up because it was the worst thing ever, okay? And Torghast, I didn't run 100 Torghasts, but I ran a couple. And I was playing an Outlaw Rogue. I think it's called an Outlaw Rogue. The one with the pistol shot. And my Torghast experience was very simple. Either I got good runes and completely destroyed things, or, alternatively, I did not get the good stuff, and my alternative was, okay, now I'm running in circles and just pistol-shotting constantly. And it never failed, by the way. Running in circles and pistol-shotting was maybe not the fastest thing in the universe, but you could clear anything with it, so you didn't have to worry about that. And that is just an example of why class-agnostic things sound cool, but they have problems. The simple problem is there's so many classes, there's so many specializations, and, well, what happens if the activity is class-agnostic? aka, it doesn't require you to be DPS, tank, or whatever, and you go in as a tank. Well, now Blizzard needs to make your warrior tank deal damage. It also needs to give it solo survivability, probably more. And, well, how do you do that? If you give it too much damage and it already has too much survivability, then everyone just breezes through the dungeon and it's the easiest thing ever, and everyone's bored because there's no challenge. It's just a mindless activity. And this is the problem. You need to give DPS survivability, tankiness, and all of that stuff. And if you give them more damage, guess what? Maybe they one-shot the content. And so, and the same goes, by the way, for, healers. You now need to give them damage and them tankiness. And with so many classes, so many specs, it's really easy to screw that up. To make someone completely overpowered because something, happens, or make it completely unviable to actually do because it takes forever. So there are a lot of problems with class-agnostic ideas and events.
I just don't know if they can do it, but it depends on how good the AI is.
Healers could offer a safer way to travel, but prioritizing damage output might allow you to sprint through at record pace.
Yeah, sure.
This versatility allows players to progress with who they want,
it's a new
how they want, and when they want. As you approach, you'll be prompted to choose a difficulty level, called a tier, and can then walk right in.
Did they really make a video where they said, a difficulty level called a tier? Who doesn't know this at this point?
There is no loading screen. Lower tiers are available during leveling, with higher tiers added at
oh my god, it's better than Starfield, guys. No, that's a selling point.
Max level and Season 1. If you're grouping with
Season
a friend
1?
or a couple of guildmates...
I will tell you that delves are actually the thing that I'm most excited about for the War Within.
I'm not gonna play it, but yes, that is actually probably exactly that. The new Torghast does make me also excited, even though I'm never gonna play it.
Like, unironically, I am the most excited about this. Because it's the only thing that's, like, new.
Just party up to enter the same instance. If you're looking to meet new Delvers, the Group Finder tool can assist with finding or forming a party.
Wow.
In the same way, it helps form groups for quests, mythic dungeons, raids, and custom activities. Whether you group with friends or strangers, everyone in your party can play whatever class and specialization they want. So no one has to sit out or be overlooked.
Dude, okay, so there's gonna be people who are just gonna 5-man DPS the delves and do that. So, yeah, that's gonna be great. And everyone else is gonna be sitting there, man, we can't have tanks in this because the DPS just zug and do 3 instances while we do 1. Oh boy, I can't wait for that one.
Because their desired role is...
Oh, and by the way, this problem doesn't actually go away when you when you make this like role specific, because then it's, oh, you need this spec because it does the most damage, you need this tank because it can pull the most and survive the best, you need this and that. Oh man, World of Warcraft, arguably the worst balanced game in the history of gaming, okay?
It's already filled.
I don't know if that's gonna actually work. Like, I feel like with how the WoW community is, like, I don't know.
The flexibility of Delves is
I mean, it
made
sounds
possible
really good,
thanks
though.
to your companion NPC. Each season, you'll be accompanied by a new companion.
I hope he calls you champion.
Who can be customized to complement your playstyle. The legendary dwarven historian Bran Bronzebeard, renowned explorer and veteran of the Second War, will be the first to join you.
Wow.
By choosing Bran's specialization, he could be molded into a healer or damage dealer, allowing him to fill the role you or your group need. As you progress, Bran levels up too, gaining skills that expand his arsenal and enhance his effectiveness.
So dwarves are now pets. Good. It's about time we revoked their human rights.
If you want to focus on damage output yourself, Healer Bran is happy to throw a potion on the ground that heals allies.
Okay.
Or, with a damage-focused Bran, you could activate his Gryphon's battle harness, which lets him bombard enemies with lightning from
That's cool.
atop his loyal Griffin. Once your max
It's like the
level
old Warcraft
and Bran is
2.
of a high enough rank, you'll begin earning curios. Equip Bran by choosing a combat curio and a utility curio to give him trinket-like effects that empower your party. In addition, Bran can help you find lost supplies and delves that can help you in your runs.
Ah, it is Torghast.
Man, I really hope this is good. I really do. I'm so nervous, man.
It's not gonna be good. That's the thing. This is an every person activity that everyone's supposed to do, which means if you are not a 532-year-old dad with 15 divorced wives and 275 grandchildren that you need to visit every day, it's gonna be so brain rot easy. It's not even gonna be close. Okay, it's insane, dude, bruh. Okay, listen. So, how many days was this ago? 3-4 days ago, we did Sunken Temple. And one person did not show up, and we needed to find someone. So we find a druid for Fairy Fire, right? And his only job was Fairy Fire. He got into the Discord, and his picture was like an old 40-year-old dude with a wife and a kid. You know, he's literally the meme come alive, okay? And his only job was to decurse when needed and to use Fairy Fire. Do you know how many times after being told, whispered, and yelled upon that he needs to Fairy Fire, he Fairy Fired the boss? Yes. 0 times, that's right. At least he had like 15 decurses or something, which was at least passable, you know? We kicked him at the end of the raid. He got no loot. If you can't even fucking Fairy Fire, you know, you have no excuses. Okay? And this is the primary audience of World of Warcraft. Literally the meme. It's not even a meme. It's reality. These people actually are. And he, you know what was the best part? He was kind of okay with that. Because He was the only druid in the raid who actually needed an item, so he just got given that, and then he was promptly kicked because no one else even needed for off-spec that, whatever it was. I don't know, maybe it was a healer item, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's it. That's the story, and he was still kind of okay with this. You need to understand, when your skill cap is at the point where you cannot fucking fairy fire a single boss even one time in the raid, where people are whispering you, telling you in the Discord and everywhere else, please fairy fire. And you know what was the funniest part? I don't even know if the guy was a healer, a boomkin, a moomkin, or whatever he was, but he actually did shapeshift into a cat time to time. And yet he still never cast fairy fire. Okay? And this game mode needs literally to be designed around these people. Yes. So the 532-year-old dad can have a little bit of fun. And you know, for the rest of us, this is going to be brain rot, easy damage. I'm going to slam my keyboard against it, and I'm probably going to pass with flying colors, right? But the dad is going to struggle, okay? He's going to probably go to this shop and think like, ooh, I can pick this. It's a struggle.
Oh my, I'm so nervous.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to play it anyway.
There will be 12 different delves
Yeah.
to explore at launch, and you can expect to find some in each of the new zones.
Oh, so it's repeatable and not RNG, which is kind of good, actually.
In the Isle of Dorn, you venture into the Earthcrawl Mines,
Wow.
a dig site that has been taken over by Nerubians.
Wow.
In Hallowfall, you must carefully explore the sinkhole, the very bottom of the zone, where all the water gathers and Kobus lurk and lure in their victims.
Wow.
In the Ringing Deep's Dread Pit, you'll spelunk into a forward base of operations that the Nerubians are using to lay
Wow.
assault on the machine.
Okay, also, this is a problem with World of Warcraft, okay? Everything is over-designed. Everything's just so redonkulously over-designed in this game. Okay, this can't even be just a pond, a naked pond. No, it needs to have some kind of 5 different wildlife teaming in it. Everything in retail is just so over-designed and oversaturates your senses. Like, look at this place. It could have looked as good as this, but you could remove 50% of the crap on it.
Machine speakers. And more adventures await in Azkahet.
What they need to fucking do is add in delves in, like, Uldaman. And add them into the old world. And I think they're going to do that. I'm pretty sure they even said they're going to do that.
Would be
Because,
nice.
like, that would be fucking awesome. Yeah, tie delves into archaeology. Yeah, something like that.
To discover
Yeah,
for
Duskwood
yourself.
Crypts. Yeah.
Upon the start
That
of
would be
season
so
1,
cool.
a 13th delve
Maybe.
will become unlockable. Focusing on a single boss encounter, players
Oh.
must now brave the enemy's lair and defeat the greatest threat yet, Zevzik.
Oh,
Delves are designed with
Interesting.
replayability in mind
No.
and feature
I'm excited to see how hard that's really going to be.
not really.
Because, like, if every class is fighting the same boss, are they going to have it to where, like, the mage tower... You know how, like, for example... like, so in the Prot mage tower, the tanking mage tower, where you fight the first, like, the guy with, like, the aura around him, there are these little eyes that you have to hit. And if you don't hit the eyes, they'll knock you off the map. And if you do it with a druid, the eyes are immune to magic damage. But if you do it with, like, a paladin, they're not. So I wonder if they're going to have, like, dynamic balancing with this or not. And, like, also, like, the paladin version is the same fight, but the boss has way more health because...
No. Well, they might. Who honestly knows? But who honestly cares? Again, Blizzard has not balanced a single game for 20 years.
Paladin has way higher damage output. Or at least, like, that's how it was whenever it came out.
changing objectives. This means delves are dynamic, with each offering multiple experiences.
That's a really nice looking mech
Delve
thing.
variants are unlocked at max level, similar to how world quests are unlocked, with different
Great.
variants available on a given day. Perhaps one day you're sent on a mission to rescue a group of Earthen from the Nerubians, but on another you find yourself working with the Arathi to burn all the Nerubian nests in that same location. Thanks to their dynamic
Okay.
objectives, you could visit the same delve multiple times and have completely different adventures. Completing delves will reward you with a variety.
Yeah, I think that what they're gonna do is they're gonna have it like so Wayfinder had this where you can go into like these dungeons and they have like a lot of the same layouts, but like there are some rooms and like mob types that get changed every single time. And then like kind of PoE maps are like this where the map layout is the same, or like actually PoE campaign is a better example, where like the layout is kind of the same, but it's a little bit different. So it's like a bit of procedural generation with like handcrafted things that fit inside of the generation.
Valuable loot.
Like Torghast?
Get to the treasure room at
basically.
the end of a delve, and you'll find chests that will provide you with guaranteed core progression rewards, upgrade track currencies,
Guaranteed.
delve currency, and more, including
Okay.
a unique reward. The Delver's dirigible mount can only be earned through delves. It's a cosmetically customizable flying machine that allows you to mix and match various modules to create your own dynamic flight masterpiece.
This is really cool. I like this a lot.
I don't.
As you complete more of these adventures and journey into Azeroth's core, you'll earn new customization options, with more choices added each season.
I don't like this because you know what's the reality of this garbage? This is also something that retail completely fails at. It's the feeling of uniqueness. And a good reason why there is not a lot of feeling of uniqueness is because everyone's gonna get this mount probably on their second delve. Everyone is probably gonna get it. You know, in the first 2 days guaranteed. At the bare minimum, right? So everyone's gonna start using the new mount because it's new. And it's fancy because of it. And guess what happens then? Well, you see everyone riding the same mount as you. Which is kind of lame, which is kind of dumb, you know? Ashes of Alad was so unique, so rare, because you needed to put time and effort into getting that bad boy. So anyone riding that was like, oh, that's rare. And now this is gonna be, oh, look, we're all the same. We all look like goddamn Christmas trees. Yay. Go Blizzard. I hate that.
Progression items earned scale all the way up into the endgame. They are awarded at item levels relative to the difficulty of the delve.
See, this is what I think that WoW has been missing for a long time, is having like rewarding and meaningful like single player progression. And it's kind of a weird thing because I think that like Classic and Burning Crusade had really good single player meaningful progression with like
Yeah, I completely don't agree with that at all. What is he gonna say? You had professions to level up? Okay, you also have professions to World of Warcraft. I don't know at which point they even added actually single player progression, but retail didn't have it. Burning Crusade didn't have single player progression. None of these expansions had actual true single player progression.
professions. And like even like with Wrath, you could join a lot more pug raids, but now if you want to get really good gear, you have to do high-end Mythic Plus, or you...
Oh, you stop. That's what you mean by single-player progression? Pugging? Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that. Okay, single-player progression is pugging now, boys. What a time to be alive.
You have to raid. And I feel like those two activities just aren't what a lot of players are looking for. I think that really...
Yeah, it's specifically designed like that. If you can be brain damaged and still acquire the best gear, people are gonna be pissed. In either way, someone's gonna be pissed. You create a difficulty that's actually supposed to be hard and, you know, for people to try and learn it, optimize it around it, strategize and whatnot. And they can finish it. But if you don't do that, if you don't put any effort, you don't finish it, that's a reasonable way of making the game, I feel. It's not bad, okay? If you want to get the best rewards, how about you put in a little bit of effort in what you do? Watch a guide or something.
Really, and again, it's like a paradox where it's like an MMO, but people are playing by themselves. I think that people like the idea of occupying a shared world, but not having to be reliant on other people. And I think that's like, it's like exacerbated by the fact that in retail WoW, you are punished because of other people's mistakes so heavily and so often. And so it just like makes you not want to play with other people.
How Mythic Plus dungeons and raids work. with items capping out at power levels comparable to heroic raids or mythic plus.
That shouldn't actually be a problem because, you know, the highest difficulty of World of Warcraft is, I'm pretty sure, made to not be done with randoms, but with a guild and whatnot. So, you know, it's different.
5 keys.
I don't see the reason why you wouldn't make it at mythic level. Just make it a really hard version. I think this is another issue that people have. Like, nobody wants to...
But if you're making it a really hard version, then then what was the point of what you said previously?
Invest all of their time into getting gear that's bad. Because what ends up happening is that the highest, like, item level, like, soft cap becomes the norm. Maybe, like, a month into a patch or 2 months into the patch. So, like, if you're a Delve player, what's going to end up happening is that after you're, like, a month into the patch, or maybe even less than that, people aren't going to want to play with you anymore because your gear isn't going to be keeping up to everybody else. Like, that's just what happens. Why do you need good gear if you're not going to use it for high-end content? Because it's fun, and people like to have good gear and be more powerful. Why? What do you mean? Why do you think people want good gear? So...
This all fails to take into account the idea that you actually need to try and do something. He's advocating for just, you know, everyone getting the best everything without, you know, even trying. He's essentially saying, oh, I want to log in and have all my max shit. That's effectively what this boils down to.
So they can kill the easier bosses faster. Duh. Like, obviously. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, of course. Heroic gear is good enough? No, it's not. I don't think it is. Like, that's why I think that, like, I don't really raid in Heroic. Like, I feel like it's a waste of time because I can just do Mythic Plus and it's easier. It's faster and it gives better gear. Like, I think that's why Classic WoW and, like, Classic, like, Warcraft Classic in general, like, BC, Wrath, all of those, like, versions were really popular. It's because you could get the really good gear in the game. Like, Onslaught Girdle was really easy to get, but it was really, really good. So, like, I think Delves need to have a way that you can work towards really good gear. And if they don't have that, I don't see anybody feeling like this is fulfilling. Because, like, if they don't, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have, like, Raiders and Mythic Plus players that are progressing faster in their own content, and then they're just going to be able to completely roll over the Delves. They'll be super easy because they'll have better gear. And anybody who's excited about this type of content is going to feel like they're wasting their time doing it because, number one, they're already getting outpaced by people that aren't even doing the content because of the item level distribution. And then number two, they're going to feel like, why even do it in the first place if it won't even give me the best gear? Like, what's the point? Then why have raid?
Okay, well, he kind of has a point there, but effectively this is the same as, you know, finishing the current raid, getting all of your best items in slot, and then just going and doing a basic dungeon. Okay? Well, not doing a basic dungeon, but saying, oh, now I don't want to do a basic dungeon because I have the best of the best of the best gear. That's effectively the same, and when you put it like that, you can kind of start to easily see why that's kind of stupid, right?
Raids then? Well, and that's the problem. And this is the issue that, like, WoW has, is that WoW has...
I mean, this can be easily fixed, but the fix is gonna, again, piss off the 550-year-old dads. You put in a difficulty in Splunking that is optimized for people with the end-game gear from the end-game raids of the hardest difficulties. You do that, and those people can do the content. But then the problem is going to be the people who don't want to do it and don't want to get geared for that level of content are going to complain about the fact that they can't get the gear to do that content in a different way. Which again is just, you know, you're effectively in some way always just, you know, bending over backwards for some kind of, you know, weak-ass player mentality group that doesn't want to do X because it's hard or whatever. Again, I think there should be punishments for, you know, if you don't want to do something, you don't get the rewards.
Has to, like, balance, like, 3 or 4 methods of end-game gameplay with each other. Like, Mythic Plus with raiding with Delves. And then you also have PvP as well. Mythic Plus doesn't drop Mythic Track gear either, though. Mythic Plus? Has that been changed? Because I remember whenever I was playing, you could get Mythic level gear from Mythic Plus, from the Vault. Yeah, okay, so then you can. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Delves for the Vault too? Yeah, only in the weekly? Yeah, but so that you can still get it then.
Even the Great Vault itself is being updated to include reward choices for completing delves, offering players a chance to earn powerful items on a weekly basis. Delve currency can be used to buy collectibles and entry-level Warbound gear. You can also find the collectibles and Warbound gear in chests directly, as well as transmogs, pets, toys, recipes, and reagents. Keep an eye out for new hat cosmetics that can drop.
That's cool.
And embrace your inner kobold or fungus. Are you ready to
So
dive
fungus
into delves?
sombrero? That's good.
Experience a more flexible, more customizable World of Warcraft in the War Within.
Yeah, I mean, again, man, I'm just so apprehensive about this. If delves get the same shit as Mythic Plus item level, it will further invalidate rating. Like, the thing is, though, is, like, I think that you're right, but if content is added into the game that players prefer doing, and it invalidates other content that people don't want to do as much, isn't that like a natural evolution of player preferences? Like, is it a good thing?
No, it's not a natural evolution of anything. You can have, look, the dumbest and easiest example why that's completely not true. It's not a natural evolution of anything. Imagine you can have a 25-man raid Mythic Plus. It's really hard, and you can get the you can get the best gear in the game. Or alternatively, you can click on a box, one time a day and get your get one gear piece. Everyone's gonna be clicking on that box, okay? And that's not a natural progression, and it doesn't actually symbolize that World of Warcraft needs to delete raids and to just add boxes that you click on and get gear. It's just the easiest thing. People are always going to take the path of least resistance to gear up, to get the best items. And there you have it. If a raid takes an hour or two to finish, and a delve takes 15 minutes to finish, and it drops you the same level of gear as the raid, everyone's going to do delves.
To, like, basically hard force raiding into the meta by making there have to be things in the game that you need to get through raiding, whenever people at any other opportunity don't raid. Because, like, to me, that sounds like really illogical. Because if you're trying to play a game and make it fun for people, why do you have to keep forcing them into doing content that they're not doing for fun? Because I think that a lot of people, this has always been like my experience raiding. I think that people like raiding, but as soon as people get the gear and they clear the content like the first time, most people stop. That's what happened with my guild for years.
Makes
it's
sense.
like most people don't actually enjoy the content. They just want to get the gear, or they want to get an achievement or something like
No, they just want to try the content.
that. And I think that Mythic Plus did take a huge amount of people away from raiding. And you can say that's like a good thing or a bad thing because, like, there's less people raiding. But in a way, I think it's also a good thing because it implies how it like basically shows how outdated raiding is. I think the entire, like, paradigm...
Raid's hard, keep crying. Anyway, this was Kuzer Sinsen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.